All right, welcome back. Today, we're diving into something, well, it's pretty radical. It's a whole new way of looking at the universe. What if everything, and I mean everything, every particle, every force, isn't just floating in space, but is actually built out of space itself? Yeah, this new theory says it all boils down to just three fundamental properties of what we think of as pure empty vacuum. So, to even begin to wrap our heads around this, we've got to ask a question that's so simple we almost never ask it. What actually is empty space? I mean, our gut tells us it's just nothing, right? A total void. It's the silent, black, empty box that holds all the cool stuff. You know, the planets, the stars, the galaxies. It's just the stage, and all the matter is just the actors. But what if that entire picture is completely wrong? Now, of course, modern physics has a much more sophisticated answer. It's not just nothing. They call it space-time, this dynamic fabric, kind of like a cosmic trampoline that can bend and warp when you put mass and energy on it. It's the foundation that everything else is built on top of. Think about it. All of our most successful theories, like the standard model of particle physics, they just assume this space-time stage is already there. They build all their beautiful equations right on top of it. And look, this works incredibly well, but there's a catch, a big one. To make the math perfectly match what we see out there in reality, physicists have to manually plug in over 19 different numbers. They're called free parameters. It's kind of like trying to bake a cake, but the recipe just says, add some sugar and add some flour. You have to just keep guessing how much to put in until it tastes right, but you never actually know why those are the right amounts. And it's that big why that brings us to this radical new idea, the triphase theory. And it suggests that we've been looking at the whole problem completely backwards. And okay, this right here, this is the core idea, the big shift in thinking. The standard view on the left says that space has properties. You know, like a box has dimensions. But the triphase view says, nope, the properties are the space. There is no box. The properties themselves literally weave together to create the fabric of reality. So what on earth does that mean? Well, it means the universe isn't made of tiny little particles zipping through space. Instead, space itself is like a universal waveguide. Think of it like a set of cosmic pipes for energy. And everything we call a particle, it's just a stable, vibrating pattern, like a note that's humming consistently inside that system. So, what are these three foundational properties? Let's build our universe. First up is epsilon naught, or electric permittivity. You can think of this as defining the up-down direction of reality. It's the fundamental rule that dictates how much electric energy any bit of space can hold. The second property, sitting at a perfect 90-degree angle to the first, is mu naught, or magnetic permeability. So if the electric property was our up-down, this is the left-right direction. It determines how magnetic field lines can form in space. So now we've got two perpendicular axes, electric and magnetic. And the third and final property, again, at a perfect right angle to the other two, is Z naught, the impedance of free space. This is our forward-backward direction. It's the property that defines how waves, like light, actually move. It's just the fundamental ratio between the electric and magnetic fields. And together, these three perpendicular properties, well, they form the 3D grid of reality itself. Okay, I know what you're thinking. This sounds like some really cool, trippy philosophy, right? But here's the kicker. The theory claims this isn't just a neat idea. It's a mathematical necessity. It doesn't just suggest it. It sets out to prove it with numbers we can actually go out and measure. And the test is actually beautiful in its simplicity. If these three properties are truly like three perpendicular directions on a graph, up, down, left, right, forward, backward, then they have to be linked mathematically in a really specific way. The theory makes a clear prediction. You should be able to calculate the value of that forward-backward property, Z naught, just by knowing the values of the other two. It's a clear prediction. You can test it. You can prove it wrong. And the results? It is absolutely staggering. When you run the calculation, the value you get for the impedance of free space matches the experimentally measured value to 9 decimal places. I mean, to put that into perspective, that's like predicting the distance from New York City to Los Angeles and being off by less than the width of a single human hair. The odds of that being a coincidence are just astronomical. So you see, the really crucial point here is that this isn't a theory that's being twisted to fit the data. It's the other way around. For centuries, the numbers we've been measuring in our labs have been behaving exactly as if they are three perpendicular components of space. The math isn't just suggesting this, it's practically screaming it at us.
So, what happens if this is true? If space really is just these three properties, what does that unlock for us? Well, this is the profound consequence, what the author of the theory calls the duh moment.
And this slide really lays out the stakes. On one side, you've got the standard model. It assumes space-time exists, and it needs those 19-plus knobs to be tuned by hand. On the other side, you've got the triphase model. It starts with just three known properties of the vacuum and claims it can derive everything else with, get this, 0 knobs to tune. Not a single one. It's a huge shift. Particles aren't actors on the stage, they're the stage itself, just vibrating in a particular way. And what does this incredibly simple geometry predict? Well, according to the theory, it spits out some of the deepest, most mysterious numbers in all of nature. The fine structure constant, calculated with jaw-dropping accuracy, the gravitational constant g, the Hubble constant that governs the expansion of the entire universe. It even offers a geometric reason for why there are exactly 3 generations of matter. All of it, the theory claims, just emerges directly from the simple geometry of the vacuum.
So you might be asking, okay, where's the proof? What's the big experiment? And the answer is kind of brilliant. The proof isn't some new experiment we need to go out and run. The proof is every single electromagnetic experiment that has ever been conducted. Every measurement of the speed of light, every measurement of electric and magnetic fields, it all confirms this underlying orthogonal structure of space. We're just finally recognizing what the data has been telling us all along.
So where does this all leave us? If this is right, it's not just a new chapter in a physics textbook. It feels like a completely new book. It paints this picture of a universe that's built not on mysterious particles or assumed dimensions, but on this elegant and unchangeable foundation of just 3 properties we already knew about. And this is the ultimate duh moment. For decades, physicists have been using this incredibly complex math called vector spaces, basically math built on directions like up, down, left, right, to describe reality. It's the engine of all modern physics. What triphase is claiming is that it's finally found the physical reason why that math works so well. It's because the vacuum itself is a physical 3-directional grid built from epsilon, mu, and z. And that just leaves us with this one last, really provocative thought. If the fundamental properties of empty space are themselves the fundamental directions of reality, what could possibly be underneath them? What could be more fundamental than the fabric of existence itself? Is this really the bedrock of reality? Or is it just another step on an infinite journey?